Hello everyone and welcome to the Milwaukee Brewers franchise on MLB The Show. The reason why I wanted to do this Brewers team is because my favorite type of team to rebuild in any sports game is always a team that is just a couple of players off from being a real championship contender, and I would argue that the Brewers are right there. We'll probably need to find like one or two good, high-quality starters for this team, and we'll really have to refine out the lineup, and that isn't overall too bad. The challenge comes in the fact that this team has the worst farm system in baseball, and because of that, that means that we just don't have that many assets. So we'll have to be very efficient in how we ship out our players and how we bring in our players, especially to try to compete. I'm going to try to keep this series realistic. That is my goal. So because of that, we won't be just shipping out prospects for some amazing young players from good teams. Instead, it'll be trying to ship out prospects for what those prospects are actually worth, per se. And most of the time, a 65A potential simply isn't worth a 85B potential who's, on their way to being in their prime. You know what I mean? So it's going to be kind of tough for us to keep it realistic while also having to basically rebuild an entire farm system, but hopefully the draft is good to us and we're able to build it up. Another reason is just Christian Yelich is my favorite player in the MLB, so getting to use him is also pretty cool. But now, let's go ahead and get into the actual roster, and let's go ahead and meet the team. So, starting with the pitching rotation here, our ace for the duration of this rebuild is going to be Brandon Woodruff. He's an 83A potential who's 27 years old, and he has 4 years of team control left on him. So we're basically going to keep him here throughout the entirety of his prime, and hopefully he just develops and has some great seasons for us. The next man up is Freddie Peralta. He's a B potential 23-year-old. I hope that he also develops under Woodruff and can become either a 2 or 3 in the future, because the less money and assets we may have to give up to bring in some outside pitchers is better for us. Adrian Houser is also pretty interesting. He's a B potential 27-year-old, and Eric Lauer is a B potential 24-year-old. So both of those guys have some team control left, and hopefully they're able to progress for us. Brett Anderson is the one odd man out. He's probably going to be replaced because he's just a bit older. But now let's go ahead and get into the real pitching struggle for this team, and that's going to be the bullpen. Our main guys out of the pen are going to be Josh Hader and Corey Knebel. They are both looking to stay here long term. As for any guys with some moderate to decent upside here, Alex Claudio's like 28 years old with a B potential, and Jake Faria's like 25 with a B potential. But other than that, nobody else in this bullpen is safe to probably stay here. Josh Lindblom's like a D potential, and he's well over 30, so he's not going to stay here after this season. And as for the rest of the guys, they're just not that great. They're not going to develop out for us. But now let's get into the real highlight for this team, the actual lineups themselves. So we're going to be looking to build around Christian Yelich, Keston Hiura, Avisel Garcia, and Omar Narvaez. Narvaez is the older one. He's like 29, going to be 30 next season, and he rakes against right-handed pitching. I want to get him a little bit better versus lefties because for now, Manny Pena is going to get the start over there just because he hits much better against lefties. Another highlight of the lineup against righties, Brock Holt is actually going to be playing for us. This is just because Orlando Arcia just does not play well against righties right now. But I'm hoping that since he's like a B potential 25, that he can just straighten that out over his career. Against lefties, one big highlight is going to be Ryan Braun is going to be playing first for us. This is because his bat against left-handed pitching is a necessity. We don't have a lot of guys that play very well against lefties. Keston Hiura has like 80 contact, 80 power against righties, but against lefties it goes down to like 50. And I just wanted someone with a little bit more pop, so Braun is going to be playing first base. Other than that, Braun really isn't going to have much of a role on this team. He's going to be the DH when we take on an American League team. But other than that, he's just not very athletic anymore to stay in the outfield, and we have good outfielders all across the board. So he's probably going to leave in the offseason, though I know he's a fan favorite for the Brewers. But now let's go ahead and cover some prospects who might have a future either here or playing elsewhere. So our number one prospect in-house is Bryce Turang, a potential 20 years old. We picked him in the 2018 draft. He's not terrible. However, I think that he's just going to take too long to develop before he'll be MLB ready. And by that point, we may be out of our window. And honestly, I would not want to spend all the time waiting for him just because we are trying to win now. So I love Bryce Terang, however, he may be one of the biggest assets that we use to flaunt to other team for a potential trade. The next man up is Luis Urias. He's pretty good as a 66 A potential. He probably will not stay at shortstop. If he stays on the team, he'll be moved to third base and he'll be a future player we use. However, he's kind of in the same thing as Terang, where I don't know how much patience I'm willing to give these guys. Obviously, I'm not going to trade them right away. We're going to wait until the deadline, so they have a good amount of time to progress and, do their thing down in the minor leagues. And then, last but not least, Phil Bickford is the biggest pitching prospect we have. The Brewers got him in the Will Smith trade with the Giants a few years back. I'm hoping that Bickford can just progress really well in the minors and be like a number 5 starter, or just a guy that we can have available to call up in the future for this team. However, once again, he's another guy that we're going to flaunt to other teams. Other than that, we just have a lot of decent C potential guys. Nobody that really moves the needle that far in trades, but once again, we'll see what we can do, but we're not going to make any big decisions until the trade deadline. We'll have to see how our draft plays out, so that's the plan. Anyways, that's it for the first episode of the Brewers series. The first game should be up tomorrow, and other than that, I will see you guys in the next one. Adios.